Little surprise for everybody. This is from November 27, 2012. This is the second notice I got from the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division. What we see right here is that they received it October 17th, 2012. Actually, this might be the first one. I'm not sure. But I got two. And if you notice, it mentions Vice President Joe Biden. Now, what's funny about this is that this is a response from a letter my mom sent when I got locked up for the child pornography case. And what's really interesting about this is that they asked me for, see, they even say right here that they need more information, which the Civil Rights Division already got, but I sent off a thing to the Public Integrity section of the Criminal Division of the Department of Justice, June 3rd. I waited till after that motion was filed by Pat Lamb to put everything back in front of Hutchison, which makes this really interesting. I also sent out a motion to the bar and everything else. I have a response from the Bar Association, which in and of itself is really interesting because it took them 3 days to give me a response, which is unheard of for anyone else. But the only reason I filed that is because the Bar Association really wants to make excuses for Kristen Keller, which is really fine with me because, to me, that just shows how corrupt everything is because all these lawyers are in bed together and everything else, and of course they make up the Bar Association. Now, what gets really funny about it, and that right there just gives me prompt to send this up to the national level on the local Bar Association for the state of West Virginia. Now, here's what we have is a receipt coming in from June 4th to the Judicial Ethics Commission in Charleston, West Virginia. Now, this is really important because this is another complaint on Hutchison, which means that, in fact, Hutchison cannot be the judge so long as there is a pending ethics complaint against him before the Judicial Ethics Committee. As odd as that is, that kind of puts the ball back into we're going to have to find a new judge without ever actually having to go to court to deal with the issue. Now, what's really important about this is that this whole thing deals more importantly with the facts as they are. And this is my little blue folder of shit. Now, as you can tell, I'm right up here in front of the courthouse. It's June the 11th. I'm officially 33 years old today. And we're going in here on my birthday to have an evidentiary hearing to talk about where the evidence has been missing and things can't be found. Now, the interesting question to this is, quite simply put, where is the second search warrant involved in this case from October 26th, 2011? Since this warrant was done in Kanawha County, and this is Raleigh County, of course, the Raleigh County court is saying they have no copy of this warrant. However, since we're talking about the state police and they have jurisdiction over the entirety of the state, here they come down behind me to probably get a little bit of a mean look here. But what you end up with is a situation in which the police themselves are caught fabricating and tampering with evidence. More importantly, since I've already filed a motion with Kristen Keller to have her to deal with the situation with Pat Lamb, and I know she's not going to do anything. I even called her out in that letter to her, stating that she would not sit down and talk to me regarding the case for no other reason than the fact that she didn't have any leverage because she was hoping the second psych eval would say I was crazy. But it didn't. It said I was perfectly sane. So you're talking about a person who is sane and claiming the cops are fabricating evidence, who has circumstantial evidence, which many of you have seen on the internet, which show that there's reason to believe the cops fabricated evidence, and this search warrant done in another county for evidence that was in a forensics lab to be taken out of a forensics lab, which absolutely in and of itself makes no sense whatsoever, because why do you take something out of a forensics lab that is to be investigated by a forensics lab? Especially, why would you get on the stand during a preliminary hearing and state that you told the forensics lab to stop investigating to get a second search warrant? We've already heard Lieutenant Deed say that he asked me for my password for my BlackBerry. Now, any of you who know anything about BlackBerries know that Obama, there was serious concern with Obama for having a BlackBerry smartphone because BlackBerry smartphones are very easy to crack. And that means that anyone who would get his phone or who would have access to his phone would be able to override whatever password he has on there very easily and reset the password. In fact, they could use his own internet to do so for the phone. So it becomes an interesting little situation. Now, seeing as we know that and how easily blackberries can be cracked, why is it that on the stand at the preliminary hearing, Trooper Eford said that the forensics lab had trouble cracking the blackberry? That right there is already a lie that he is easily caught into, because BlackBerries are the easiest smartphones in the world to crack, which is the reason why I use an Android, which is the reason why I mistakenly called the BlackBerry an Android, because it was a free phone when I signed up for Verizon. Now, what we have here is a case in point. This is the first video I'm going to put up this morning, and after we get done with it, after we get done with the court hearing is scheduled for 9 o'clock, what's going to happen is I'm going to post up another video, and I'm going to update everyone. There's a good possibility everything might get thrown out of court, and it's going to be a more definite possibility that Judge Hutchison will be investigated by the Judicial Ethics Committee and won't be able to preside over the case. And most importantly of all is the issue that this search warrant is going to be a huge matter. The fact that I had actually sent evidence off, sent a complaint out, a timeline, and everything else to the Public Integrity section of the Criminal Division of the Department of Justice, that they have sent me 2 separate letters requesting this information. That one of them I didn't get until after I was out of jail and made bond, throws in this interesting question of exactly what's going to happen. How is everyone going to deal with these new revelations? Most importantly, more importantly of all, comes into play the simple fact that what we are talking about here is of itself a case where Judge Kirkpatrick is going to be confronted with this very same thing. Now, the question is, how was he going to deal with it? How is he going to be influenced? Where is his opinion going to be? Now, personally, I think Pat Lamb kind of circumvented Judge Kirkpatrick here for no other reason than the fact that, you know, I don't think Judge Kirkpatrick's going along with the whole little thing. I don't think he's part of the whole little issue, otherwise there'd be no point in circumventing him. Then again, I might be wrong. But just as in the case with the Beckley police, right behind me, by the way, I come into the situation where I say they're not going to do anything. They tell me they're not going to do anything. They show up, namely Sergeant Bailey shows up, tells me he's going to do something, just as long as I stop making the videos about them doing nothing, and then proceeds to do nothing, which proves me completely right. Interesting thoughts for all, isn't it?